Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another Crimecast. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody that's in the room. If you guys can hear me okay, give me a thumbs up. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down. I'm going to give a shout out to everybody that's in the building early. All right. Looks like we got a small crowd tonight, but it's all good. Shout out to Carlton Way. What's good with it, bro? We got Ollie 8100 in the building, and we got Carla Lockard. All right. It's good to see you guys in the building tonight. All right. So if you guys haven't yet, please make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell and subscribed, make sure that you guys do. So we are going to check out some interesting stories tonight, all right? There's some very interesting stuff popping off. So, when it comes to all of the crime, especially according to people like, what's that guy's name? Actual Justice Warrior, we commit all the crimes, right? But that's not the case here. Shout out to Alonda. What's good with it? Hey, I'm glad you like Crimecast. That's what's up. We are definitely going to try to get this channel, to grow a little bit. You know how YouTube be hating, but we're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. Shout out to you guys for coming through because you guys definitely help with that. So my question for everybody is, did you hear about this story right here? You're not going to want to miss this one.
To do what he did to her and then leave with her head, that does show someone who's got signs of being unstable.
The search continues in the North Bay for a man who Santa Rosa police say killed his own family member, allegedly beheading her.
The 11 o'clock news.
So yeah, you guys heard that right. You guys heard that right. This particular individual deleted his own family member and then he beheaded her. Yeah.
On KTVU, Fox 2 starts now.
The search for that homicide suspect is now in its second day. Hello again. I'm Greg Lee.
And I'm Christina Rendon. So far, no arrests, no leads have been reported either. KTVU Story Gaines visited the neighborhood where the killing took place and reports on the latest in the investigation.
A violent homicide suspect is on the run tonight. Police were called to Pomo Trail in Santa Rosa Thursday afternoon to do a welfare check on a woman in her 60s. A friend had entered the victim's home to check on her and found a grisly scene.
When she got into the house, she found her friend lying on the ground and was decapitated. But we did also notice that there was no head any longer on scene as well.
Detectives suspect 24-year-old Luis Gustavo Arroyo Lopez killed the woman, who is his blood relative, before leaving the scene. Police want to ensure the community knows what this man looks like and that he is considered armed and dangerous. Take a look at your screen.
He's 5'6", about 150 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, Hispanic male. But one of the biggest features about it is he's got a shorter cut hair. On the left side, he's got 420 and a marijuana leaf tattooed. So he is fairly easy to identify.
When KTVU crews arrived at Pomo Trail this afternoon, medical waste cleaners were still outside the home cleaning up. Neighbors described the crime on their street as out of the norm.
I was actually really shocked. This is actually a pretty good, pretty chill neighborhood.
I think it's kind of scary.
They always say that. Do you guys notice that? If you guys notice that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't notice that, give me a thumbs down. They always say that. This is a pretty chill neighborhood. This kind of stuff never happens here. Well, if it's a pretty chill neighborhood and this kind of stuff never happens here, you know what's next? Well, what's this?
Neighbors who have lived in this area for 13 years say they've never even heard yelling on their street. Many people in the area were so frightened by the details of the violent crime that they were afraid to speak on camera. Arroyo Lopez is also not a stranger to police. He was recently released from state prison on post-release community supervision. Police say he traveled from Bakersfield to Santa Rosa to commit the crime.
He does have a violent history as well. So what we're telling people is...
So now here's the question. If he's got such a violent history, why did they let him out? What's you guys' thoughts on that? If this individual has such a violent history, why was he allowed out?
Call us if you see him. Be vigilant, but we do believe this was a targeted attack.
SRPD did tell us that there was a weapon recovered at the scene inside of the residence. They declined to share further details about the weapon until that suspect is in custody. In Santa Rosa, Tori Gaines, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
So there's that. All right. So we're going to follow up on that a little bit. There's an article that the New York Post put out. All right. Big facts, Alonda. If you guys agree with Alonda, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's why you coined the term surviving the suburbs. Facts. Because you barely survive. You know what I'm saying? You barely survive if you live there, but let them tell it. You know, you only barely survive certain areas, which isn't true. But the interesting thing about it is that the property value stays high in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? A man with a 420 head tattoo accused of decapitating a female relative fleeing with her head was arrested in San Francisco. So this must have been after that video they've gotten him. All right. A California man with a 420 head tattoo who is accused of decapitating a female relative and fleeing the scene with her head has been arrested in San Francisco, according to the police. Now, let me ask you guys this question, right? This is gonna be an interesting question. How did this particular story not make national news? I mean, this to me sounds pretty damn noteworthy. Luis Arroyo Lopez, who is 24, was busted at the Trans Bay Terminal around 7:30 a.m. Saturday morning after San Francisco police officers recognized him from a description of a suspect wanted for murder in Santa Rosa. KRON reported. So we could check this out. Hopefully they got a video there. The arrest comes after a frantic search for Arroyo Lopez after Santa Rosa police discovered a woman's decapitated body inside of a residence in the 2500 block of Pomo Trail around 3:40 p.m. on Thursday. The woman's head was missing, and police believe Arroyo Lopez had taken it with him when he left the grisly scene on foot, according to the Santa Rosa Police Department. Police have not said whether or not the victim's head has been recovered since his arrest. So this is this individual right here. All right. And again, like, to me, that's just wild. You know what I'm saying? That is just wild. So now here it says police said the woman, who has not yet been identified, is Arroyo Lopez's relative, which is interesting because if she hasn't been identified yet, you know, how then do they know if she's a relative or not? Isn't that kind of out of order? Although her relation to him was not immediately clear. Yeah, probably because she hasn't been identified. After he was identified as the suspect, considered armed and dangerous, police released a photo of him revealing his noticeable tattoo of 420 and a marijuana leaf on the side of his head. Arroyo Lopez was recently released from state prison and placed on post-release community supervision. He was formerly incarcerated for assault with a deadly weapon and weapons possession charges in an unrelated incident, police said. Additional information about his arrest is forthcoming, police said. So, yeah. So, again, you got to ask yourself, why was he allowed to be released? Knowing that he had done that, why did they let him out? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton says he looks like an undocumented bro. Yeah, he does. If you guys agree with Carlton, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. So here's the local information about this individual. Right here. Man accused of decapitating woman has been arrested. So they wrote a very short article about this. The suspect who allegedly decapitated a Santa Rosa woman, Luis Arroyo Lopez, was taken into custody in San Francisco Saturday morning. The San Francisco police officers assigned the Trans Bay Terminal observed an individual matching the description of a wanted homicide suspect out of Santa Rosa at approximately 7:53 a.m. Multiple officers coordinated to detain the suspect. Arroyo Lopez was arrested by SFPD. The Santa Rosa Police Department was notified of the arrest. All right. So, yeah, man, they got this dude, which this is that whole situation there is insanity. That is wild. And again, it's the same situation that always happened. The people in that particular community, they didn't see it coming. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Why do you all think that they didn't see it coming? So, how many people heard about this particular story? I'm gonna pull a couple. I'm gonna pull a couple videos over here real quick. There was a 17-year-old man, or I'm sorry, a 17-year-old boy who was accused of deleting an individual in an execution style deletion. If you all heard about this particular situation, give me a thumbs up. If you guys did not hear about this particular situation, give me a thumbs down. We got 2 videos, right? And now what I want to ask you guys about these particular situations is, why is it that these situations don't make the news? Shout out to David Brown. What's good with it, bro? Why don't they make the news? It seems like it's only a particular demographic of people that make the news, and it gives everybody all of this content to make on social media. But then when you dive into the crime reports, there's a lot of people out there committing crimes. A lot. People that look like that. Let's see what they're talking about.
Tonight, the search continues for a gunman who shot and killed a man on a King County Metro bus almost a month ago. Today, charges were filed, even though no arrest has been made. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Solis.
I'm Madison Wade. The new court documents outline the unprovoked shooting, and King 5's Cornelius Hawker has the latest details tonight.
Madison, Steve, the shooting happened in White Center back on October 3rd. Video from the bus shows the gunman and the victim never spoke to each other. Investigators believe this was a random crime.
So now this particular individual just decided to delete this guy on the bus. And what I find fascinating is that Actual Justice Warrior did a video where he said that the knockout game is something that's inherent to black teens. How many people saw that video? If you guys saw that video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't see that video, give me a thumbs down. So now let me ask you guys about this particular situation. If we look at one instance of this occurring, should we attribute this particular crime to this individual's ethnicity? Because why would this individual do this? Shout out to Simply Too Deep over on Twitch. What's good with it, Simply Too Deep? I mean, these are these questions that we got to ask.
Tonight, the search continues for a gunman who shot and killed a man on the King County Metro bus almost a month ago. Today, charges were filed, even though no arrest has been made. Thank you for joining us. I'm Steve Solis.
I'm Madison Wade. The new court documents outline the unprovoked shooting, and King 5's Cornelius Hawker has the latest details tonight.
Madison, Steve, the shooting happened in White Center back on October 3rd. Video from the bus shows the gunman and the victim never spoke to each other. Investigators believe this was a random crime.
I think when people see a murder case like this in the news, they want to know that prosecutors are taking it seriously.
Prosecutors say the new details released justify the charges and a $3 million bail.
When you read through the court documents, you see exactly why it's so concerning.
The court documents outline what happened on a King County Metro bus on October 3rd. Investigators say video captured the moment 17-year-old Miguel Dominguez shot another passenger who was apparently sleeping in the back of the bus. 21-year-old Marcel Dejan.
So now here goes my question for you guys. Why would you shoot somebody who is sleeping on the back of a bus? Doing pretty good, bro. How are you? Why would anybody do that? There's no justification for that.
Wagner was shot 5 times in the head and neck at point blank range.
So he shot this individual 5 times in the head and neck at point blank range. Now, let me ask you guys this. Don't you guys think that this would be national news? But again, this story falls out of the radar. Why not? Why is this not national news?
Passengers in shock, the gunman was seen firing 2 more shots through the bus door to get the driver to open it. Those bullets hit a nearby medical building.
It's getting crazy.
That's Pam Brown. She uses public transit to get around and says she's never personally had a problem, but has seen some things
People fighting.
that make her think this.
I think they should put a security guard on them. I really do. On certain buses that have the problems.
After the shooting, security.
Hold on real quick, man. I got to look at this lady's forehead. It look like somebody kind of busted her upside her head. Don't it look like she kind of got like a little lump up there? Like somebody might have took something to her head?
Have the problems.
After the shooting, security was increased, but Pam knows they can't be everywhere all the time, and they can't predict random shootings like the one Dominguez is accused of committing.
I think we need to keep our eyes and our ears open and just watch out for people and let the Metro drivers know what's going on.
Dominguez will be charged with first-degree murder and second-degree unlawful possession of a firearm once he's called.
When you particularly have circumstances like this one, you want to make sure to get it before the court right away.
Again, even though those charges have been filed, Dominguez has not been arrested.
So here's my question. Why hasn't he been arrested? You guys got any guesses as to why this particular individual hasn't been arrested for this? Yeah. Yeah, I gotta agree. If you guys agree with Simply Too Deep because it doesn't fit their stupid narrative, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. David Brown said, the W brick lady. Man. So here goes another report on that same crime. Let's see if they give us any more information. And if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell and subscribe to the channel, make sure you guys take a moment, hit the bell, and subscribe.
Well, and we've been asking police for weeks if they have any updates about the shooting death of 21-year-old Marcel Wagner. You can see a memorial here to him at the bus stop where this happened today. The teen accused of shooting
Marcel Wagner. I wonder if this guy is a black guy. Looks like he might be a black guy. That's why they got these pictures all all blurred out. Oh, let me see this real quick. Let's see what we got here. I'm about to see if we can find some images. Let's see if we can find some images. See what we got here. Let me see. No. I'm not seeing anything showing this individual, Marcel Wagner, what he looks like. Let's see. Let me see. I'm going to see if they got it over here real quick. Yeah, so this dude's name is Marcel Dejan Wagner, the individual that got deleted. So I'm pretty sure that this was a black dude that got deleted. He was 21 years old. So now we know for the most part why he's not arrested. What do you guys think? The name Marcel Dejan Wagner. What do you guys think about that name? That sounds like a brother, doesn't it? Prosecuting attorney called Marcel Dejan Wagner's death a senseless execution of a total stranger. I got the feeling that if this individual walked up to this dude and did this, he wasn't a stranger. Either this was a hate crime or they had some past history, but it wasn't just no random act. And honestly, how they gonna say it's a random act? They haven't even interviewed old boy. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, we about to dive into this a little bit deeper because there's a little bit more to this that they're not letting us know about. See, I thought we was gonna be able to get through a little bit more of this, but apparently we not.
Well, and we've been asking police for weeks if they have any updates about the shooting death of 21-year-old Marcel Wagner. You can see a memorial here to him at the bus stop where this happened today. The teen accused of shooting him was charged with.
So here's my question. Why are there no more pictures of this Marcel Wagner other than this memorial here? I'm looking and I can't find any pictures of him. And shout out to Carla for answering that Nightbot.
With first-degree murder, and prosecutors say there was no interaction at all before the shooting. This is 17-year-old Miguel Rivera Dominguez, who police say fired a gun 7 times on board this King County Metro bus on October 3rd in what prosecutors now describe as a senseless execution of a total stranger.
It makes my heart sink, and it scares me.
The shooting on board the bus happened during the evening commute. Court filings say Rivera boarded the bus in Burien and rode for 12 minutes before he stood up, went to the back of the bus, and shot the victim, Marcel Wagner, 5 times.
There he is right there. It is a black dude. A young black man, a 21-year-old. Now, here's my question. How many people heard about this? This is probably why you didn't hear about it.
Police say it appeared Wagner.
So now, you know, if we talk about this particular crime and getting justice for this crime, what are everybody going to say? They're going to all say the same stuff that they always say. What is everybody going to say? Why, this young man's life doesn't matter. What matters is black on black crime. How disrespectful is that to the victim's family? People like Larry Elder, Officer Tatum, Candace Owens. Let me ask you guys a question. What does quote-unquote focusing on black crime have to do with this particular crime right here? Because this wasn't a black on black crime. So do you all think that all of the propaganda from that particular part of the government that says not to focus on crimes against black people could possibly be the reason why it took us this damn long to find out that the victim of this particular crime was a random black person who was asleep, by the way? They can't sit there and say that this guy was being a disturbance or anything like that. This dude was asleep away from this particular individual. Now, what made this higher quality, higher IQ individual go to the back of the bus and do this to this individual right here? Somehow, all of these people, I want everybody to understand this. The whole purpose of the population at large is to try to somehow make this particular situation self-defense. Would you guys agree? Now, mind you, it doesn't make sense how there could possibly be a need to defend oneself from somebody who was asleep, but that's what they all will do.
Police say it appeared Wagner was asleep when he was shot.
He was sleeping on the bus, and you get shot and killed execution style.
Police say Rivera then demanded to be let off the bus and fired 2 more times through a door. The charges say he ran off and...
Why didn't anybody call the police? I want you guys to understand this. The United States and the people in it have set up a situation where people are okay with watching a random black dude be publicly executed because every other race of people on the planet has continued the narrative of that person is probably guilty of something anyway. So now here's my question. What kind of safe environment does that make for your future son or your future daughter? Or your current son or your current daughter? You guys see this, right? Not only did this individual delete this individual at the back of the bus, but the bus driver and everybody on the back of the bus let him off the bus. Jordan Neely sure as hell didn't get off of the subway, did he? And he didn't even delete anybody.
still hasn't been apprehended.
Safety on the bus is definitely an issue. We need more bus security.
The shooting has rattled transit riders who were already concerned after a stabbing and a hammer attack at a train station just days before.
You got people doing fentanyl and God only knows what else, robbing people for their sneakers.
So now that's an interesting optic.
And it goes on and on and on.
King County Metro pledged more security would be on the H line.
And notice how they didn't get any of this individual's family, and they got all of these particular people as the people that they interviewed. If you guys notice that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't notice that, give me a thumbs down. I'll run it back.
After the shooting, but as Como News has reported, the Metro Transit Police are seriously understaffed.
With all the problems with like the drug use, the fentanyl and everything, and now we got this kind of stuff happening.
As detectives continue to search for Rivera, passengers who depend on the bus say they're uneasy.
Riding the bus.
Let me ask you guys this question. What are they uneasy about? That they might have to witness something like this again?
Now for me it's forever changed.
Now, because of how Washington law works, Rivera, who's 17, was directly charged with first-degree murder in adult court. Police say that he is known to use the transit system. He's still on the run, and they ask anyone who knows where he is to call 911. Prosecutors have asked for $3 million in bail once he's arrested. Reporting live in White Center, Jeremy Harris, Como News.
So they're clearly not looking for him very hard. Doesn't seem like there's very much of an effort in looking for him. So since we already found out the information that we wanted to find out, we don't need to look at these other two articles. All right. We're going to take a moment and take a look at this right here. This is interesting. Apparently, a Georgia deputy shot an exonerated man. How many people heard about this particular situation? If you guys heard about this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't hear about this, then give me a thumbs down. Yeah, I gotta agree. Facts, Dave. Their life's not in danger at all. They don't fit the profile of who got randomly deleted on that train. You know what I'm saying?
We begin tonight with the traffic stop in southeastern Georgia that turned deadly, claiming the life of a man who had been wrongly convicted of robbery and spent 16 years in prison. It happened in Camden County.
Now, shout out to Grind and Motivate, because we were actually supposed to do a video on, we were actually supposed to react to this video right here, and we were supposed to react to a reaction video about this particular video on Reacts. We didn't get a chance to, so I'm about to check out this video real quick.
We begin tonight with the traffic stop in southeastern Georgia that turned deadly, claiming the life of a man who had been wrongly convicted of robbery and spent 16 years in prison. It happened in Camden County. I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Tonight, the sheriff's office is releasing dash camera video of that deadly encounter. Fox 5's Christopher King spoke with people who knew the driver. He's live tonight in Midtown. Christopher.
Oh, Courtney, Ross, Leonard Cure was exonerated for a crime he did not commit years ago. Earlier this week, a deputy stopped him for speeding. We have that video of the moments leading up to the shooting, and we warn you, some of you may find it disturbing. This dash cam video shows a Camden County deputy following a driver. He's about to pull over for speeding. Get out! Get out! It happened on I-95, just north of the Florida line. The Camden County Sheriff's Department releasing this footage on Wednesday. The deputy shouts orders to the driver, Leonard Cure. Put your hands back here. Cure cooperates at first. Then the encounter grows more tense. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of the law of the state of Georgia, step back here. Now you're getting tased. Cure walks to the back of the truck. The deputy shouts more orders. Hey, put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now. Why am I getting tased? You are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving. The deputy tells Cure he was driving 100 miles an hour. The two men argue. The deputy orders Cure to put his hands behind his back. Put your hands behind your back. Cure refuses. The deputy fires his taser. Cure wrestles with the deputy for what seems like an eternity. Cure pushes the man's head backward. The deputy reaches for his gun. We stop the video before the deputy shoots and kills Cure.
So this is a wild situation. This was wild.
We begin tonight with the traffic stop in southeastern Georgia that turned deadly, claiming the life of a man who had been wrongly convicted of robbery and spent 16 years in prison. It happened in Camden County. I'm Russ Spencer.
I'm Courtney Bryant. Tonight, the sheriff's office is releasing dash camera video of that deadly encounter. Fox 5's Christopher King spoke with people who knew the driver. He's live tonight in Midtown. Christopher.
Oh, Courtney, Ross, Leonard Cure was exonerated for a crime he did not commit years ago. Earlier this week, a deputy stopped him for speeding. We have that video of the moments leading up to the shooting, and we warn you, some of you may find it disturbing. This dash cam video shows a Camden County deputy following a driver he's about to pull over for speeding. Get out! Get out! It happened on I-95, just north of the Florida line. The Camden County Sheriff's Department releasing this footage on Wednesday. The deputy shouts orders to the driver, Leonard Cure. Put your hands back here. Cure cooperates at first. Then the encounter grows more tense. Step to the rear of this vehicle. In the name of the law of the state of Georgia, step back here. Now you're getting tased. Cure walks to the back of the truck. The deputy shouts more orders. Hey, put your hands behind your back because you're getting tased. I'm telling you that right now. Why am I getting tased? Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving. The deputy tells Cure he was driving 100 miles an hour. The two men argue. The deputy orders Cure to put his hands behind his back. Put your hands behind your back. Cure refuses. The deputy fires his taser. Cure wrestles with the deputy for what seems like an eternity. Cure pushes the man's head backward. The deputy reaches for his gun. We stop the video before the deputy shoots and kills Cure.
He did not deserve to die.
Cure, back in 2020, was exonerated for a crime in Florida he did not commit. He recently moved to Fairburn. His brother Michael is outraged.
And it's so unfortunate that I, along with my family, have to stand here before you today in this unfortunate club that these officers create for us.
Now, the Camden County DA and the GBI are investigating. The deputy is on administrative leave during this investigation. We're live in Midtown. Christopher King, Fox 5 News.
Now, if you ask me, this news report and that body cam video left out a lot of important information. And I'd actually like to see the whole thing unredacted. But this is a video by Dr. Todd Grand. And like I said, Grind and Motivate and I were supposed to react to this particular video, but we didn't get a chance to during our react stream. So I'm going to check this out now. This is a reaction to that particular situation. And shout out to Carla and Dave for hitting that Streamlabs bot. Definitely appreciate it. So let's see what this guy's talking about. He's going to assess this situation. Wrongly convicted man attacks police during reckless driving traffic stop. Leonard Cure analysis. So now let me ask you guys a question before we get into this reaction. What do you guys think that this individual is going to say about this? Let me know what you guys think. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit the bell, make sure you hit the bell and please share the stream to your social media, wherever you're watching from.
This is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of Leonard Cure? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. On November 10, 2003, at 7:15 a.m., a man robbed a Walgreens store in Dania Beach, Florida. He took money from the safe and fled the scene 9 minutes later at 7:24 a.m. 2 employees were in the store, one male and one female. They notified the police. The male employee told the police that the perpetrator was in the parking lot prior to the robbery. He was wearing blue jeans, a blue jean jacket, and a red baseball cap. When the employee opened the door to let his female coworker in, the perpetrator attacked, produced a revolver, and then took $1,700 in cash from the store safe. 2 days later, the 2 Walgreens employees met with the police to complete a composite sketch. The female employee described a black male who was 5'8" and missing teeth on the left side of his mouth. The male employee did not recall the perpetrator missing any teeth, so their descriptions of the perpetrator were not quite the same. The employees were asked to attend a police lineup a week later. 6 male suspects were presented to the female employee. She selected a man named Leonard Cure as the perpetrator.
So now you guys recognize him, right? So this particular content creator is giving some background information as to why he was falsely arrested and convicted of the first crime. Okay.
Perpetrator. The male employee was not as certain. He was torn between Leonard and another suspect. Despite this, the police claimed that the male employee only selected Leonard. Leonard Kerr was arrested on November 20, 2003. He went to trial in August 2004. The case against him was pretty weak. There was no physical evidence connecting him to the crime. The victim's testimony represented the only evidence against him. There was plenty of exculpatory evidence. For example, Leonard had teeth missing from both the side and front of his mouth, but he wore a dental bridge all the time. Leonard claimed that he had an alibi. He said that he left home around 6 a.m. with his girlfriend and her 3 children. His girlfriend dropped him off at a bus stop. He took a couple of buses to get to an ATM that was 3 miles south of the Walgreens. He made a withdrawal of $20 at 6:52 a.m. There is no way that he could have made it to the Walgreens store in time to commit the robbery without a motor vehicle. Leonard did not have access to a vehicle at that moment. At 8 a.m., Leonard's employer arrived at a job site and found that Leonard was already there, ready for work. He was wearing boots and clothing consistent with construction work, not the clothing described by the victims. The police had spotted a man on the day of the robbery who was wearing the same clothing as the perpetrator described by the male employee. On August 17, 2004, the jury failed to reach a unanimous decision, and a mistrial was declared. The state offered Leonard a plea deal involving 7 years in prison, but Leonard refused.
So now they weren't able to convict him, but then they turned around and tried to offer him a plea deal. So what it looks like is that after this plea deal, the state was going to try to go after him again.
His second trial started a few weeks later. The male Walgreens employee testified that he was not certain that Leonard was the perpetrator. Despite this, Leonard Kerr was found guilty of armed robbery with a firearm and aggravated assault with a firearm. Due to his criminal history, including robbery convictions, Leonard was sentenced to life in prison.
So they basically convicted this individual with no evidence. They didn't have matching sketches. They basically convicted him on his past record. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Is that justice? If that's justice, give me a thumbs up. If it's not justice, give me a thumbs down.
After his appeals were denied, Leonard wrote to the Conviction Review Unit of the 17th Judicial Circuit and asked for his case to be reinvestigated. After looking into the case, the Court Review Unit had concerns about the police lineup and the identification of Leonard. This led to Leonard being released from prison on April 14, 2020, and exonerated on December 14 of that same year. He moved to an area just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On October 16, 2023, 53-year-old Leonard Kerr was driving a Dodge Ram pickup truck to Georgia after visiting his mother in Florida. At about 7:30 a.m., he was pulled over in Georgia on Interstate 95, just north of Exit 7, by a Camden County Sheriff's deputy named Buck Aldridge. He should not be confused with Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin was an astronaut. Buck Aldridge was a police officer. After exiting his police vehicle, the officer approached the driver's side of Leonard's pickup truck and yelled, "Get out, get out." Leonard exited the pickup truck, and the officer directed him to place his hands on the back of the truck. Leonard responded, "I ain't doing blank." The officer reached for Leonard's right arm, but Leonard moved his arm to break the hold. The officer produced a taser, pointed it at Leonard, and ordered him to step to the rear of the vehicle. Leonard walked to the back of the pickup truck with his hands in the air. The officer told him to put his hands on the back of the truck, which Leonard eventually did. The officer called for backup and ordered Leonard to put his hands behind his back. Leonard asked a few questions like who the officer was and was there an arrest warrant. He did not put his hands behind his back. The officer said, "Put your hands behind your back or you are getting tased." Leonard asked why. The officer responded, "Because you are under arrest for speeding and reckless driving." Leonard pointed out that nobody was hurt and asked how he was speeding. The officer claimed that Leonard passed him going 100 miles per hour. Leonard said, quote, "Okay, so that's a speeding ticket, right?" Unquote. The officer explained how speeding tickets are criminal offenses in Georgia. He directed Leonard to put his hands behind his...
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever heard of a situation where somebody is going to get put in jail for a speeding ticket? Now, mind you, in a lot of states, speeding is a criminal offense, right? In most cases, it's like a misdemeanor crime. But usually, unless there's like some type of accident or some type of event where there is even more of a crime that took place beyond the speeding, maybe like property damage or a car accident or a vehicular homicide or something like that. In most cases, that usually doesn't come with a jail sentence, right? So my question for you guys is, have you ever seen a traffic stop where the suspect is only alleged at this point of speeding? Have you ever seen it take place like this? Let me know what you guys think.
Back. Leonard indicated that he was not going to jail and pointed his left hand in the air. The officer responded by shooting him with a taser. After a few seconds of being tased, Leonard turned around and physically attacked the officer. As the two were grappling and spinning around behind the pickup truck, the officer fired the taser again. Leonard grabbed the officer's neck and appeared to be getting the upper hand in the fight. The officer tried beating Leonard with his baton, but this did not discourage Leonard from attacking. Leonard said, quote, yeah, blank, unquote, and kept pushing the officer. The blank was a word that rhymes with ditch. At this point, as the two continued to wrestle, the officer produced his service pistol and fired one shot into Leonard's abdomen. This caused Leonard to fall to the ground, writhing in agony. The officer yelled, stay down, stay down. Leonard responded with the words, too late. As the officer was calling for assistance on the radio, a Brinks armored vehicle backed up along the side of the interstate. The driver assisted the officer by pointing his pistol at Leonard. The officer appeared to be exhausted from the encounter. And
so pay attention to what the Brinks driver did. Is that part of the job description for a Brinks driver? This is a lot of what they left out on that news report. How many people have ever seen anything like this before? If you guys have seen a traffic stop like this, give me a thumbs up. If you guys haven't, give me a thumbs down. Now the Brinks driver is involved, which is interesting.
And was breathing heavily. About 2 minutes after the shooting, the officer handcuffed Leonard. Other police officers arrived shortly after this. First aid was rendered, but Leonard did not survive. At the time making this video, the police are investigating the incident. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts on a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. After being exonerated in 2020 for the 2003 armed robbery, Leonard maintained steady employment and was getting his life together. In August of 2023, the state of Florida paid Leonard $817,000 for the wrongful conviction and the 16 years in prison. He was also awarded educational benefits. Leonard had big plans for the future. He wanted to go to college to study music production and was in the process of purchasing his first home. People who knew Leonard thought that he was funny, kind, and intelligent. There was no indication that he was angry about the false conviction and time in prison. Rather, he maintained a positive mood and was excited about the future. Item number 2. Buck Aldridge used to work for the Kingston Police Department. In 2013, a performance review said that he needed to improve his judgment and decision-making. He was advised to be calm, cool, and collected. In 2014,
well, looks like Leonard wasn't the only one that has a record. It's interesting how the news left that out. Oh, yeah, absolutely, David. I agree 100%. And I got to agree. If you guys agree with Carla, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, I have actually seen some content from this individual here, and his analysis, they're usually pretty right down the middle. I don't expect this guy to be Benjamin Crump. You know what I'm saying? But he's not Tucker Carlson either, which isn't a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
he was accused of unnecessary use of force during a traffic stop. He only received a warning. In 2017, Buck Aldridge picked up a woman and threw her on the ground during a traffic stop, at least according to another officer who witnessed the incident. Referring to Buck, the officer said, quote, "I see a police officer being way too aggressive to start with. He had no business picking her up and throwing her to the ground," unquote. Buck Aldridge was fired, but in 2018, the Camden County Sheriff's Office hired him. They were aware about.
So now let me ask you guys this. This Buck Aldrin individual, his pattern of behavior and record is very similar to the type of police officers that we've been talking about on the laws, isn't it? If it is, give me a thumbs up. If it's not, give me a thumbs down. Let me ask you guys a question. Because these kind of police officers who have a history of this kind of behavior, because it seems like they have a higher probability of having a negative interaction with people, do you all think that their performance reviews and their job history should be public information? If you guys think that it should, give me a thumbs up. If you think that it shouldn't, then give me a thumbs down.
To be calm, cool, and collected. In 2014, he was accused of unnecessary use of force during a traffic stop. He only received a warning. In 2017, Buck Aldridge picked up a woman and threw her on the ground during a traffic stop, at least according to another officer who witnessed the incident. Referring to Buck, the officer said, quote, "I see a police officer being way too aggressive to start with. He had no business picking her up and throwing her to the ground," unquote. Buck Aldridge was fired, but in 2018, the Camden County Sheriff's Office hired him. They were aware about his troubled past when they made that hiring decision. It was right on his application. Item number 3, was the shooting of Leonard Cure justified? When looking at the dash camera video and the body camera video, it seems clear that Leonard was being non-compliant and physically attacked the officer. Any reasonable officer in that position would have feared for their safety. I think the shooting was justified. The officer attempted to use less than lethal tactics prior to shooting Leonard, for example, the taser and the baton. In addition, he only fired one shot and administered first aid afterward. Despite the shooting being justified, there was a lot of room for improvement with this officer's behavior. This brings me to item number 4.
Now, let me ask you guys something. I think that it's interesting that he immediately goes to whether the shooting was justified because of the officer defending, quote unquote, himself, right? Now, my question is, was that a proper arrest? And the question is, if the arrest isn't proper, does the citizen have the obligation to be compliant if the arrest isn't proper? That's my question. There are certain things that a police officer is supposed to say and do when they're arresting a citizen. My question is, did any of what is supposed to happen in that situation? From my observation, it didn't.
The officer in this case was far too aggressive in the beginning of this traffic stop. There was no need to yell at Leonard and bark orders. The officer really didn't do anything to de-escalate the situation. Rather, he kept just making the situation more intense and more stressful. There's a sense that he had a strong desire to dominate.
So now, again, it's interesting how he said that this is justified, but then he's coming with all these flaws, excuse me, of the arrest technique. So now, again, excuse me, the question I got to ask is, if the arrest didn't follow protocol, is there an obligation to follow commands? Because if the arrest doesn't follow protocol, then how are you supposed to know that you're under arrest? Especially an individual who's already had a negative interaction with the law, who've been wrongly incarcerated already. Just questions.
And was somehow personally offended by Leonard's driving behavior. This is not an unusual reaction for a police officer. The fact that Leonard did not pull over right away probably only made this reaction stronger. This may have caused the officer to get frustrated and offended. He took that frustration out on Leonard on the side of the interstate. Item number 5, what do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. Leonard had been falsely convicted of a crime, which led to a life sentence. Eventually, prosecutors came to believe that he was actually innocent. He had nothing to do with that armed robbery. Leonard was only targeted by the police because he had a criminal history. Being falsely imprisoned was a horrible and traumatic experience for Leonard. It left him with an understandable distrust of law enforcement. He viewed the criminal justice system as capricious. One day he was minding his own business and going to work. The next day he was in prison for life. He had no sense of security or stability. On October 16, 2023, almost 3 years after being exonerated, Leonard was driving about 90 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone. When he saw that he was being pulled over by the police, he became fearful, determined, and belligerent. He accelerated to over 100 miles per hour. I think that Leonard was going to make a run for it, but then he changed his mind. He decided to pull over and attempt to talk his way out of being arrested. The police officer, Buck Aldridge, was overly aggressive and was determined to place Leonard under arrest. Leonard continued looking for a loophole and tried to negotiate, but the officer was not going to bend. This left Leonard with 2 choices: go to jail or resist arrest and be killed. The former was unacceptable based on his experiences. Therefore, he selected the latter. I don't know when he made this decision, but I think when Leonard pointed in the air with his left hand, it was his way of signifying that it was time to go and there could be no turning back. Leonard was thinking to himself, the die is cast.
Yeah, I mean, like the last time police, think about this. What happened to him the last time something happened with the police? The last time he was encountered by police and arrested by police, he ended up doing life in jail and was innocent. You know what I mean? So shout out to David. David says, I feel like he ever had a reason to fight back. To be honest, I think he would have gave him the beats and dipped. His life was only in danger of an L. Yeah, facts. Facts. I mean, if he's basing his police encounters on past experience, like what the psychologist is saying, what this individual, because this guy is a psychologist, what this psychologist is saying, it makes sense. However, I don't think that the police officer initiated a proper arrest, which is what set this off on a bad start to begin with. You know what I'm saying?
He crossed the Rubicon and attacked the officer, knowing what the result would be. He did not make any effort to grab the officer's gun. Leonard wasn't trying to kill him. Rather, he was counting on the opposite. After being shot by the officer, Leonard said the words, "Too late." This statement did not make sense as a response to the officer's command to stay down, but it did make sense in a larger context. Leonard may have been speaking metaphorically. It was too late for the criminal justice system to apologize. It was too late to make things right. It was too late for Leonard to find peace. Now moving to my final thoughts. This tragedy occurred because two people with maladaptive thoughts, including rigid thinking, found themselves in a conflict. Neither one was willing to bend, so ultimately, one of them broke. Leonard had unjustly suffered for 16 years. He wasn't about to give the government even one more moment of his freedom. Those are my thoughts in the case of Leonard Cure. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.
I didn't think that was a bad analysis. I disagreed with part of it, but I didn't think that it was a bad analysis. You know what I'm saying? So, guess what? You guys ever heard of Jack in the Box? How many people ever heard of Jack in the Box? It's a restaurant chain down south, if I'm not mistaken. Here is a case of body in a box. This woman was found guilty of deleting her sister-in-law and storing the body in a box for 3 years. Now, here's my question. Who does that?
And Maggie's sister told us she never thought her family was capable of hurting her little sister, but now she hopes her sister-in-law can never hurt anyone else.
I didn't think they were doing it for the right interests, and I didn't think she would have the right care she needed, not that her life was in danger.
On Wednesday, a jury found Desiree Sanchez guilty of killing her sister-in-law for security checks. Margarita Sandoval, lovingly known as Maggie, had intellectual disabilities and required constant care. Norman police discovered the body in May
Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. What's good with it, Brooklyn Queen?
of 2021. Her body was left in a box for 3 years in various homes, wrapped in plastic.
They could have been a part of her life before then. They never chose to be until there was money behind it.
Sanchez and her husband, Octavio, are accused of killing Maggie and hiding her body in their friend's basement for money. Police say they collected her social security checks up until a week before her body was found.
Yo, that's dirty. So this lady had intellectual disabilities. Her family deleted her, and they kept her around to make it seem like she was alive so they could keep getting her SSI check. Man, that's crazy. Talking about the stuff people will go through to stay on welfare. Man. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How is it that Fox News and all these different places, Newsmax, Epoch Times, how do they always miss all these kind of stories? Daily Wire. You guys think that we should start sending them tweets with these kind of stories in them? Because for whatever reason, I don't know what goes on their social media feeds and on their social media posts, but what it seems like is it just seems like they miss all of this good content. How do you miss all of this good content? How does it happen? And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please make sure you guys hit the bell and subscribe to the channel.
Her body was left in a box for 3 years in various homes, wrapped in plastic.
They could have been a part of her life before then. They never chose to be until there was money behind it.
Sanchez and her husband, Octavio, are accused of killing Maggie and hiding her body in their friend's basement for money. Police say they collected her social security checks up until a week before her body was found.
That was very, very hard to find out who was behind it and responsible for her death. that just makes it worse because it's family. So I didn't just lose my sister. I lost, other people that were involved with it.
Now Maggie's big sister Isabel tells KOCO she hopes her sister is at peace.
I think we're all happy with the verdict. I think all my family, it's been definitely a long 3 years.
Now, here goes my question. How did they not notice that this woman was deceased for 3 years? How did that just slip under the cracks? How did nobody know that?
As I watched Desiree in trial, she didn't even act human. She laughed during the photos. I think the world's a better place without her.
Now, the jury recommended a sentence to life in prison, but Sanchez will be formally sentenced at the beginning of next year. Reporting live in Cleveland County, Kylie Thomas, KOCO 5 News.
All right, so there's that. So we got another little clip about this particular situation. Let's see if they go into any more detail. I mean, this is just wild. And again, you would think that this stuff just doesn't even happen because it's never reported on. None of this stuff ever makes the national news circuit. You know what I'm saying? Or should I say the national news circus?
When the jury found Franson guilty of first-degree murder and unlawful removal of a dead body, she rolled her head in disapproval and disbelief. The jury recommending life with the possibility of parole. Is there anything you want the public to know? Desiree Franson leaving the courtroom as the jury decides if she's guilty of first-degree murder. In 2018, prosecutors say Margarita Sandoval was living with Franson, her husband Octavio Sanchez, and their kids. Investigators say she had cognitive disabilities and received Social Security checks mailed to this apartment. At some point, attorneys allege the 19-year-old inappropriately touched one of the Sanchez's children in this Norman apartment. Prosecutors say shortly after that, no one heard from Maggie. In 2021, Norman police getting an out-of-state tip. Officers finding a body.
Now, see, that's interesting. They didn't say that part in the other video. So there was a whole bunch of mess going on here.
At some point, attorneys allege the 19-year-old inappropriately touched one of the Sanchez's children in this Norman apartment. Prosecutors say shortly after that, no one heard from Maggie. In 2021, Norman police getting an out-of-state tip. Officers finding a body inside a tote wrapped in plastic, tape, and blankets inside this home on Lindsay Street. While her remains decomposed, the couple cashed nearly $31,000 in Maggie's Social Security checks. They pleaded guilty to those federal crimes in January. Prosecutors showing the jury Facebook messages of the couple calling her fat garbage, trash, and saying they needed to get rid of her. Prosecutors say the Sanchezes came up with a plan. They would pin it all on Octavio. The defense says that makes more sense. They say Octavio has a criminal background, said he was in a gang in a few messages, and drank. They also say the state's case has a few holes in it. They say the timeline doesn't make sense, and they don't have a concrete theory on how Maggie was even killed. Prosecutors say the body was too badly decomposed to know. As for it all falling on Octavio, the state said...
Make sure you guys show some love to my man Win Loser Rug. Shout out to Win Loser Rug for subscribing. I don't know. I swear Win Loser Rug was subscribed to this channel. YouTube be on some weird stuff.
As one message disproves that. When Desiree allegedly said, "You didn't do it though, honestly." In Norman, Caitlin Ogle, Oklahoma's News 4.
It also came out during trial the Sanchezes used their own children to help wrap the box in which they hid the body of Margarita.
Oh, man, that's wild. They used their own kids to wrap that body or to wrap that box that they had this lady stored in. Man, please somebody explain to me how these stories don't make the national news. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. Hold on real quick. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Let me see what else we got here. Let me see something here. Let me see what we got here. All right, let's check this out. Like I said, there's always too much going on. Never short of content here. And I always never get it all. I never get it all in. So give me a sec. Of course, my computer is bugging out on me. All right, here we go. So check this out right here. A teacher who was 24 allegedly sent nude photos to a student who was 16 and propositioned him for sex. Is anybody surprised by that? A 24-year-old Missouri teacher allegedly exchanged nude images with a 16-year-old student and invited him to her home to have sex with her while her husband was away. I mean, seriously? Ricky Lynn Laughlin, a teacher at St. James High School, was accused of sending X-rated photos and a video of herself using a dildo to the teen and soliciting pictures of his you-know-what from him via Snapchat, the Riverfront Times reported. So we're going to have to check out this article from the Riverfront Times. And I think we might have actually talked about this woman. I think we might have actually talked about this woman, but we're gonna definitely hit this up again. Cause we gotta ask this question, man. What is up with these teachers? Shout out to G Mars. What's good with it, bro? What's up with these teachers? The student reportedly told police that things progressed fast after the Snapchat exchange and that he and Laughlin had kissed. When she allegedly invited him to have sex, he made excuses for not hooking up because he did not feel comfortable. A probable cause statement by the Marys County Sheriff's Office reportedly states. Officials launched an investigation after receiving a tip from Phelps County detectives on October 19th about an inappropriate relationship at the school in the small city of St. James, 95 miles southwest of St. Louis. KSDK reported, citing the document. So this is her right here. Laughlin allegedly told the teen that she could go to jail for the explicit material and asked him to delete them because people at school were talking, but he was able to provide some images for the detectives, officials said. Police then interviewed Laughlin, who admitted she'd been in touch with the student over Snapchat, but claimed he initiated the conversation and that she had not been aware he was a minor until a day before, according to the statement. The age of consent in Missouri is 17 years old. Now, here go my question. If he was a student of hers, how did he not know that she was a minor? And shout out to Brooklyn Queen for hitting the Nightbot. If he was a student of hers, how did he not know that? How did she not know that he was a minor? That's the question. The teacher then reportedly allowed police to search her cell phone, where detectives found an illicit video similar to what the student had described, officials said. Laughlin was charged with possession of CP, tampering with a victim, attempted statutory rape, sexual exploitation of a minor, tampering with physical evidence, and sexual trafficking of a child, along with one misdemeanor count of furnishing pornographic materials to minors, according to reports. School District Superintendent Tim Webster did not name Laughlin, but confirmed to KSDK that a teacher was immediately escorted from school property and placed on leave pending investigation. The district takes these matters seriously and reported allegations to appropriate outside agencies, including law enforcement, Webster told the outlet in a statement. Our top priority remains the safety and well-being of our students, and we do not tolerate any policy or law violations within our educational community, he added. Laughlin, who completed 3 temporary authorization certificates and a substitute certification, was teaching classes to juniors at the high school, KMOV4 reported, citing the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. Her bond was set at $100,000, and she has a court hearing scheduled for November 20th. All right. So, I mean, like, man, here goes my question, man. What's up with these teachers? How many stories like this do we hear about these teachers wilding out like this, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. They can find some they can find something else to do. You know what I'm saying? They could definitely find something else to do. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Brooklyn Queen. She couldn't find a lonely incel to date so they could stop deleting folks? Probably not. You know, them incels be kind of crazy. They actually be committed to being incels. Like, no, I don't want any. I'm going to maintain my status as a MGTOW. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. Beggars can't be choosers. You know what I'm saying? Missouri high school teacher charged, accused of sending nude photos and videos to students. Police said, now this woman was married though, man. This was a married woman doing this. Police said that the 24-year-old teacher was exchanging illicit photos and videos with the 16-year-old student. A teacher at St. James High School in Phelps County, Missouri, was charged with multiple crimes after police said she exchanged illicit photos and videos with a student. Ricky Lynn Laughlin, who was 24, was charged with 6 crimes, including furnishing pornographic material to a minor and attempted statutory rape for her alleged behavior with a 16-year-old student. According to a probable cause statement, Major Scott John with the Marys County Sheriff Office launched an investigation after receiving a tip from Phelps County detectives on October 19th about an inappropriate relationship at the school. Early in the investigation, John discovered Laughlin was sending videos to a student. In the probable cause statement, John said he went to interview the 16-year-old victim the next day. The student said Laughlin reached out to him on Snapchat. Why would a teacher, let me ask you guys this question. Why would a teacher have a student's Snapchat address? Why would a teacher have a student's Snapchat address is my question. Is there any reason for that whatsoever? The victim said the conversations escalated quickly and Laughlin sent him nude pictures and videos of herself. He said she also requested he send nude photos of himself, which he did on 2 occasions. The victim said Laughlin also tried to solicit sex from the victim. According to the probable cause statement, the victim said Laughlin told him to delete the photos and videos and said she could go to jail over what they were doing. Well, you're in jail now. The same day, John interviewed Laughlin. She initially denied the relationship, but later said she was talking with the student over Snapchat. She said she didn't know the victim was a minor until the day before the interview. So we already got through this part right here. This is basically what they had in that other article. How does she not know that this individual was a minor is my question. She knew that he was a minor. You know what I'm saying? She was a teacher at the school. She had access. You know what I'm saying? She had access to the school roster. There's no possible way that she didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Man, that's wild, man. So now, hold on real quick. What is this? Okay, so check this out. We got some undocumented bros. We got some undocumented bros information popping off. Yeah, I gotta agree with Win Loser Ruggs. She was working on grooming him. Facts. Yeah, and that's the facts, Brooklyn Queen. Now, here goes my question. When they be talking about all those things that those teachers are concerned about going on at those school systems, how come they don't ever talk about the teachers not leaving the students alone, like keeping their hands off of the students? You know what I'm saying? So now let's talk about these prisons that a lot of these undocumented bros come from. Speaking of which, and we can actually kind of land a plane here. Let me ask you guys a question. You guys want another crime cast tomorrow night? Or do y'all want to talk about some other stuff? Because there's plenty of stuff we can talk about. If y'all want another crime cast tomorrow night, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't, give me a thumbs down. Let me know what y'all want. We're gonna talk about some undocumented bro stuff. Yeah, yeah, big facts. If y'all agree with David, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Why Latin American prisons are the most insane in the world. Now, let me ask y'all this. Why are the Latin American prisons the most insane in the world? Oh, it looks like we got an overwhelming Crimecast. It is. Crimecast it is then tomorrow. On September 20th, when 11,000 soldiers and police officers stormed the notorious Talkin prison in northern Venezuela on orders from President Nicolas Maduro to free the penitentiary from control of the Tren de Aragua gang, they were expecting chaos and violence. But one thing they weren't expecting was a petting zoo. For years, inmates at the prison, particularly gang members, had been building what some called a little city, fortifying themselves with an arsenal that included automatic rifles, machine guns, grenades, and enough ammunition to start a small war. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How were they able to do this in prison? Now, mind you, this is where Joe Biden, said that these people could have temporary protected status from. I'm gonna go back and read this paragraph again because this is slightly concerning. Would you guys agree? That's slightly concerning. Let's see. I wonder, is this an actual video? Let's see what they got here. Let's see how much time we got on this. While this is running, y'all know what to do. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure you guys hit the bell, and please share the stream to your social media. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my backup channels, take a moment, subscribe to the backup channels. See how, okay, we're almost there. We're almost there. All right, let's see what they got. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this is wild, man. Seriously? Look at this. It says prisoners at Tacumumbu in Paraguay rioted on October 10th, setting fires and taking guards hostage. Yo, man, these prisoners took the guards hostage. These the people, man, listen. Hey, let me shut up, man. Listen, you see these two right here on the screen? Now, mind you, this is in a Passport Bros country. Would I be wrong if I said that these particular women on the screen in this Passport Bros country look exactly like the women that people claim that they want to get away from here in the United States? Would I be wrong for saying that? So now I know it's only two, but I'm just saying though. You know what I'm saying? Am I wrong for saying that? Am I petty for saying that? I know I ain't shit for saying that. That's why I said this shit. Look. You going to get your passport and go all the way down there, and that's going to be waiting for you, and you're going to be mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You done got your passport. You done made all these videos on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You done trashed all these Western women here in the United States, and then you get down there, and there she go. You know what I'm saying? It's like a game of passport roulette. Hold on, man. Are these the prisoners? I'm confused as to what the hell is going on here. Hey, man, listen, man. When the situation is so bad that you don't know what the hell is going on, that's really bad. This is extremely bad, ladies and gentlemen. Why they got the kids trying to keep the jail closed? Like, what the yo. Hey, man. Listen, if this hey, they may as well give it a wrap. Hey, call it a day, man. They may as well go on down there to the southern border and fling them gates open. I'm not even about, listen, I'm not about the open borders. But do you see what this is what they did to a jail. This is what they did to a prison. With all these they got more guards on this prison right here than they got at the southern border. And they done set this shit on fire and melted it. I gotta agree. I gotta agree with Brooklyn Queen. Some of these videos, I question who's filming this. Facts. Listen, they better get something else at the border. They better get something. Now they've been talking with Eric Adams. They better get them robot dogs down there or something, because this normal shit down there at the border, the normal shit ain't gonna stop these motherfuckers. Look what they can do. Look at this. That shit look like a crematorium in there. What did they do in there? And who are the prisoners and who's breaking out? Because my question is, them people with the shields, why are they moving down the street in formation like that? Like, if they're guards, they shouldn't really be moving like that in the public. Like, they should just be moving, right? Like, am I wrong about that? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, y'all know what to do. Hit that bell. See, this is what these people right here, are these prisoners that broke out and made these shields, or what? Yeah, exactly. If you guys agree with Win, Lose, or Rug, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Win, Lose, or Rug said they've been in prison so long, they learned how to be better than the actual guards. Yo, that's facts. That's facts. Man, that's wild, man. That is crazy. Wowzers. So now here says on September 20th, when 11,000 soldiers and police officers stormed the notorious Talkin prison in northern Venezuela on orders from President Nicolas Maduro to free the penitentiary from control of the Tren de Aragua gang, they were expecting chaos and violence. But one thing they weren't expecting was a petting zoo. For years, inmates at the prison, particularly gang members, had been building what some called a little city, fortifying themselves with an arsenal that included automatic rifles, machine guns, grenades, and enough ammunition to start a small war. Okay, so let's start here. Where did they get all of this stuff from? Where did they... How are you in prison and you got access to all of this stuff? Where did y'all get this from? They also had a massive and secret recreational wing with amenities like a nightclub, a casino, a bank, and the aforementioned zoo, where animals like crocodiles, pumas, flamingos, and an ostrich were used by inmates to drive back invading authorities, according to some accounts. Man, what the? They not ready for this kind of stuff, man. That's beyond efficiency, bro. That's beyond efficiency. Listen to this. They had a recreational wing with amenities like a nightclub. What? A casino, a bank, a damn zoo. What? Bruh. They're in prison living life better than we are out here. They trying to, you're not gonna have it that good when you come into the United States. they doing better in that prison. You know what I'm saying? Shit. The raid wasn't entirely effective. And yeah, I gotta agree with Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said fellow member that doubles as a guard, probably. Yeah, probably. You probably onto something there. I want to see this though. I want to see the video footage of the nightclub. I want to see who's up in there. And they got a casino. What? Like, what? The raid wasn't entirely effective. Although an estimated 88 inmates attempting to escape were recaptured, the gang's leader, Hector El Nino Guerrero, imprisoned for deletion and drug trafficking, disappeared and hasn't been seen since. He's somewhere in New York City or Chicago. But it didn't stop the government officials from claiming victory anyway. Yeah, he's somewhere in New York City or Chicago. Look at this. Look at this. Look how big this prison is, man. This is in El Salvador. A view of the massive terrorism confinement center in El Salvador, which can house up to 40,000 prisoners. Across Latin America, prison systems are contending with rampant drug crime, overcrowding, and violent gangs, which are often leaving the penitentiary under control of the prisoners rather than the authorities. Look at how big this thing is, man. This is wild. Shout out to Yoshimori. That's facts. Why would they want to leave if they got all that? Facts. Yeah, big facts. Win, lose a rug. You see this place right here? Nope. No. You know what I'm saying? No. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro praised the operation on X, touting it as proof that they were heading towards a Venezuela free of criminal gangs. Not everyone shared their enthusiasm. Phil Gunson, a political analyst with the International Crisis Group who lived in Venezuela for more than 2 decades, suspects the entire raid was staged as part of a prior negotiation between the gangs and the authorities. It's the most plausible explanation for the escape of all of the key leaders, he tells the Post. It's not just Tokaran. It's been a weirdly active summer for many of the most infamous prisons of Central and South America, where inmates are making it abundantly apparent who's really in charge. So now let me ask you guys a question. It's active in these prisons. Where else is it active at? The southern border. So do you all think that the activity at these prisons has anything to do with the activity that's going on at the southern border of the United States? If you guys think that that is a possibility, or if you guys think that that's what's going on, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's what's going on and maybe there could be something else popping off, then give me a thumbs down. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment and smash that like button. We got 18 likes and we got 21 people watching. If we can get the likes up to 30, that'd be great. So now here it says in early October, prisoners at Tecumbu, Paraguay's largest prison, held several dozen prison guards and the warden hostage for more than 15 hours. So it's clear who's in charge of these prisons. And it's not the, you know what I'm saying? It's not the prison guards, or, you know what I'm saying? It's not the government. The actual prisoners. This is a situation where the actual prisoners are actually running the yard. You know what I'm saying? One of their demands, which wasn't met, was the resignation of Justice Minister Angel Barcini, who promised in recent days to crack down on the Ratila clan, a gang that not so secretly controlled the prison. The other demand, which was granted, was to open up the prison, already overcrowded at 4,000 inmates, twice its actual capacity, to even more inmates, thus increasing the gang's pool of new recruits. Man, that's how you know this shit is out of hand down here. The prison is overcrowded, and the demand that the prisoners had was not for anybody to escape, but for them to open up the prison and bring more prisoners in there. Man, that's crazy. At the literal penitentiary in Guayaquil, Ecuador, where gang violence has become a regular occurrence, 7 inmates suspected of assassinating presidential candidate, good Lord, Fernando Villavicencio, in August were deleted behind bars in early October. All of their bodies were found in Ward 7, a section of the prison controlled by the gang Los Lobos. In June, 46 inmates were deleted in a woman's prison in Honduras when a fight broke out between rival gangs who attacked each other with guns, machetes, grenades, and a flammable liquid. All right. Man, yo, let me ask you guys a question. If I could find information on what I ain't trying to be funny, man, but this is interesting. If I could find information on the stuff that goes down at these prisons, would that be content that y'all would be interested in listening to? If that's some stuff that y'all interested in, give me a thumbs up. If it's not stuff that y'all would be interested in, give me a thumbs down. To me, this is wild. And to me, this is very concerning. And if you ask me, I think more people actually really need to be up on this, because it could possibly be a lot of these people from these particular places coming in at the southern border. You know what I'm saying? Remember when I kept saying, like, when we would watch those videos and the people would get over the fence so easy, and I'm like, yo, look at all that barbed wire. How is these people getting through the Darien Gap? They got to have some type of military training. You know what I'm saying? Here, well, these seem like some people that could get through the Darien Gap. These people, look. If you can set up a nightclub, a casino, and a zoo here at this particular place right here, then you definitely can get through the Darien Gap without no issue. You know what I'm saying? Yep, all these single men. Now, let me ask you guys a question, right? See, I guarantee you that most of these countries don't keep good records of the people at their prisons. But if they were able to somehow keep a record of how many people were at their prisons, and then they would go back and see how many people were missing, and we could keep account of how many people are at the southern border and see if the number of people at the southern border add up to all the people missing from out of these prisons, I think we have a start as to where many of these people are coming from. Shout out to Yoshimori. Yoshimori said it's 100% likely that they are already here now. Yeah, that's big facts. David Brown said, I'm in disbelief. They got a zoo up in there. They got a zoo up in there. They got a zoo up in there. Look right here. Here's the list of amenities. If you go to this prison, here's what you get with your 30-year sentence. Amenities such as a nightclub, casino, bank, petting zoo, fully stocked with animals like crocodiles, pumas, flamingos, and an ostrich. Like, you can't make this up, man. Who is at the nightclub is what I want to know. I want to know who's at the nightclub. I want to know where the music is coming from. I want to know all of that information. I don't care about anything else going on down there except for what this alleged nightclub looks like and what is going on at it. I want to know about that. What is going on? I want to know what kind of casino they got down there too. How y'all got to? They playing cards down there with some Bible pages or something? Like, seriously, like, don't make no sense, man. So it says in June. Look at this. Okay, so they actually got news articles about this stuff. In June, 46 inmates were deleted in a woman's prison in Honduras when a fight broke out between rival gangs who attacked each other with guns, machetes, grenades, and flammable liquid. Now, mind you, this is in the woman's prison. They said, look, hey, the passport bro said that they go into these countries to find feminine women. These women down here going at each other with guns, machetes, and grenades. There go your femininity right there. You know what I'm saying? There go your femininity right there. Oh, man, you can find all that on the streets of New York City. You can find that on the streets of LA. You know what I'm saying? You can find that in downtown Atlanta. You can find that in the metropolitan area near you. Actually, you will find the most masculine woman in the United States is not running with grenades. I bet you that. I bet you that much. I bet you the most masculine American woman don't have no damn grenades. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the brutality has been staggering, and it's not exclusive to one region or prison. From the Altamira Regional Recovery Center in Brazil's northern Para state, where inmates went to war in 2019 and celebrated by playing, oh my goodness, they celebrated by playing soccer with the decapitated heads of their victims. They better do some serious looking into these people that's down there at that damn border. Man, man. Look at this. The brutality has been staggering, and it's not exclusive to one region or prison. From the Altamira Regional Recovery Center in Brazil's northern Para state, where inmates went to war in 2019 and celebrated by playing soccer with the decapitated heads of their victims, to the Luis Gancho prison in Lima, Peru, which earned the nickname Dante's Inferno. The prison problem in Latin America has become a cancer. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you think that the United States made some type of deal with Latin America to kind of, quote unquote, release the exhaust from these prisons? If you guys think so, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think so, give me a thumbs down. Yeah, they need to go close that border like right now. Let me borrow somebody's phone real quick. I'm about Oh man, let me borrow somebody's phone real quick. I'm finna call Joe Biden. Excuse me. Wake your dumb ass up. Go sign an executive order and get that damn border shut. Have you read this shit in the New York Post? Yeah, they out here playing skull soccer. Nah, man, nah. There ain't nothing. There's nothing that people who do that kind of shit can do for the United States. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no there's nothing that you can do to improve the United States. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen your application. I appreciate you putting in the application. We're not taking any more candidates at this time. We'll definitely put it over here. And if any openings come available, you will be the first to get a call back. You know what I'm saying? Have a nice life. Yeah, we definitely do not need that. We don't need people playing headball. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we don't need that shit. These crazy people like Joe Biden, the type of people that try to rehabilitate these motherfuckers and put them on the United States Olympic soccer team. It's not gonna work, man. This is an Avengers, bro. This is an Avengers level threat. They need to call the Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, you know what I'm saying, and the motherfucking Justice League. Fuck the comic book lines. Somebody call DC real quick and get them motherfuckers over here. We need Superman, Batman, the Flash, Green Lantern. You know what I'm saying? Where Galactus at? Are you busy? You know what I'm saying? Can you give me a phone call, please? This shit don't make no damn sense. They celebrated by playing soccer with decapitated heads of their victims. Man, hell no. Man, look, could you imagine this being an episode of Martin and his ass reading this article? What would Martin say about this? You know what I'm saying? To the Lurigancho prison in Lima, Peru, which earned the nickname Dante's Inferno, the prison problem in Latin America has become a cancer. So this shit beyond the damn cancer. It's full-blown AIDS. Shit. Peruvian lawyer Sandro Montblanco, who's toured dozens of penitentiaries across the world, told the Post that Lurigancho was the worst he'd ever visited. I've witnessed other prisoners being shanked right in front of me, he says. I had a client with testicular cancer whose testicles grew to the size of a grapefruit until he passed away. Man, shut that border down like yesterday. Shut that border down like yesterday, please. Because this is exactly where these people coming from. Valerio Bispuri, a photojournalist who spent 10 years visiting and photographing 74 prisons across Latin America, when he documented in his book, Encerrados, recalls being both terrified and surprised by what he encountered. They threw bags of urine at me. They pointed knives at me, he said. But he also saw inmates fight with knives and then just hours later play jovial games of soccer in the prison yard or rehearse tango dances. See, that's instability. That's mental instability right there. That's the kind of, that right there is the kind of people that you don't want to be dealing with. If you can snap like that, where you got a blade to somebody's neck 1 minute and then the next minute you practicing a damn tango dance with them, that's not what you want. Right, exactly, Yoshimori. They called it Dante's Inferno. That means that some demonic shit is happening over there. They got 7 layers of hell. Facts. How has it come to this? How have so many Latin American prisons become what Renato Rivera, a crime analyst in Ecuador, calls the headquarters of organized crime? And most importantly, if anything, what can be done to save them? According to experts, the main culprit is overcrowding. So let me ask you guys this. If these prisons are overcrowding, where do you think that the other people are going? If these prisons are overcrowded, Where are the people from these prisons going? See, to me, that tells it all. To that facts, Yoshi, to that gap to make it to America. Facts. If y'all agree with Yoshi, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. That's it right there. You know what I'm saying? Or as Gene Silvestri, a violence researcher at the University of Sao Paulo in Brazil, puts it, the prisons are just crammed with people. Over the last 2 decades, the prison populations in Central and South America have jumped by 77% and 200% respectively, according to the World Prison Brief. Let me ask you guys a question. How many of y'all have ever heard of this quote unquote World Prison Brief? I've never heard of it before. This is interesting, this World Prison Brief. I'm just looking at this particular site right here. Prisonstudies.org is the name of the site. This would actually, we might actually talk about this on Crimecast tomorrow night. This is actually some really interesting information. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says an overcrowded prison undermines any minimal initiative to reintegrate inmates into society, such as educational programs, professional training, or work, says Silvestri. Prisoners aren't being rehabilitated so much as packed in like sardines. The lack of resources, even something as basic as enough beds, has led to widespread inmate unrest and violence. By the early 2010s, with guards overwhelmed and outnumbered, many prison authorities began making deals with gangs. So now let me ask you guys this question. How many deals do you think have been made with gangs to allow certain gang members to leave so that they could come to the United States, or that they could empty out the prisons to have a little bit more room in the prisons while some of them people escape to the United States? Do you guys think that those type of deals have been made? By keeping the peace, so to speak, these prison bosses, sometimes called prans or kingpins, could control their own prisons like many mayors. Not surprisingly, the prans had more in mind than just maintaining law and order. They operate massive criminal enterprises both inside the prison walls and beyond, says Gunson. With the prison, they make vast sums by selling services to inmates. In fact, an inmate who declines to pay what is known as la casa will likely have nowhere to sleep and nothing to eat. And on top of that, will be beaten and possibly deleted. Man, that's rough right there. Damn. I think it might be. I think that this requires further study. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ali. Ali says, is this one of the reasons why they are dumping their asses at our border? I believe that this could possibly have something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I think we might have to start a Crimecast Undocumented Bros playlist. What do you guys think? That might be in order. Yeah, what do you guys think about what Yoshi Mori said? Yoshi said Trump might have been right about that wall. We're going to need the Fortress of Solitude. Facts. Big facts. In the video filmed inside Guayaquil prison and posted on YouTube. A duo of singers and Fido's own daughter brag that Macias is the boss of all bosses. Let's see what's going on with this video real quick. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Oh, okay. This is this is a music video. This is a music video. So I guess apparently they got some gangster lyrics in this video right here. All right, so check this out. I'm about to put the link to this video in the chat. Self-snitching lyrics here. You know what I'm saying? Sheesh. So in the video filmed inside Guayaquil prison and posted on YouTube, a duo of singers and Fido's own daughter bragged that Macias is the boss of all bosses. There are a few notable exceptions to this inmates running the asylum strategy. El Salvador, where President Nayib Bukele declared a state of emergency in 2022 because of gang violence, opened their newly built mega prison earlier this year, able to accommodate more than 40,000 inmates. It currently just holds 12,000. So now my question is, why is it that El Salvador can't lease out their prison to some of these prisoners? They out here making music videos. What kind of so-called bruh, right? In February, Bukele tweeted a video of barefoot tattooed prisoners wearing only white boxers and declared this will be their new house where they will live for decades, unable to do any further harm to population. But Carlos Dada, the co-founder and director of the Salvadorian digital news outlet El Faro, isn't convinced that meaningful change is coming. Doing something to address this problem involves a really long-term solution, not just building a bigger prison, he says. But this always plays against the politicians' interest. They need visible effects to win the next election. They need to show what he's doing now. Even if it is a make-believe solution, why aren't more Latin American countries expanding their prisons like El Salvador to at least create the illusion of control? Lack of funding. Brazil, which has the third largest prison population in the world, spent an average of $4,000 a year per prisoner in 2021, which is about a tenth of what's spent on U.S. inmates. So now let me ask you guys a question. Is it in these countries' best interest to get rid of some of these prisoners? Look at how much they're spending on all these prisoners. Look at how much they're spending. So my question is, if they're spending all of this money on these prisoners, the name of the game is probably to reduce costs. So now here's my question then. How exactly do you reduce costs? What's the easiest strategy to utilize to reduce costs in this particular situation? It will probably be easiest to just dump the prisoner somewhere, right? In Peru, where the prisons have an overpopulation of 124%, the state spends around $2,611 annually per prisoner, or $7.10 per day, says lawyer Montblanco. Even in places like Sao Paulo, the richest state in Brazil, money often just exacerbates the problem. Sao Paulo has invested billions in building prisons, says Silvestri. It resulted in the consolidation and strengthening of the country's largest criminal organization, the PCC, which was born within the prison system. The idea that prisons, whether run with the brutality of war camps or left in the control of inmates was the only solution to criminality actually originated in El Norte. Latin America has been greatly influenced by two North American policies, the war on drugs and zero tolerance measures, which relies on incarceration as the main crime control tool, says Silvestri. And as mass imprisonment just doesn't work, one study found that in Brazil, roughly a fourth of inmates released from prison were back behind bars within the same year. And political leaders don't have many ideas about how to fix the system either. Daniel Noboa, the Banana Empire heir, who recently elected as Ecuador's next president, suggested this summer that maybe violent criminals should just be incarcerated on boats. Now, here's my question. How are they going to be just incarcerated on boats? Win Loser Rug said that video about to have his algorithm all messed up. Which one? That mariachi video about that prison? Oh, man. We need prisons, Dada says, but prisons aren't the only solution. These gangs didn't come from outer space. They are the consequence of a broken social issue. If you don't solve the structural causes that give rise to gangs, you're not solving the problem. Instead of reforming criminals, the prisons in Latin America, we are simply warehousing them in ever greater numbers, says Gunson. Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. Look at what mass incarceration looks like in South America, in Latin America. Do you guys see that? Now, I want you guys to pay very close attention to this. White people feel that black people are so problematic. Have black people created an issue like this in the North American prison system? So we got mass incarceration of black people here in the United States. We got mass incarceration of Latinos in Latin America. Look at the difference in the prison system. Now, here goes my question. How come nobody ever makes those comparisons? And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 19 likes. If everybody could take a moment and just bang on that like button, we will finally be over 20. Take a moment, hit that like button. Don't be shady. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. But when the other option seems to be petting zoos for inmates and soccer games with decapitated heads, it's hard to argue with a frustrated public that just wants the madness to end. One surprising thing that photojournalist Bispuri discovered amidst all the violence and corruption was an unanticipated sense of camaraderie. Even in highly overcrowded situations, when a spark was enough to start a revolt, inmates helped each other, he says. Okay, like that, I don't think that that's anything positive, especially for what we got going on up here. You know what I'm saying? While violence and death can be a fact of life in Latin American prisons, there is almost no suicide, says Bispuri. Of course, they got everything. They have better stuff in the Latin American prisons than we got, like in the street here in the United States. They got petting zoos. You know what I'm saying? They got a full accommodated rec center. They got a casino. They got nightclubs. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, but I mean, as long as you paying your dues down there, why would you delete yourself? You're not getting all that stuff at no American prison. So now here says, while violence and death can be a fact of life in Latin American prisons, there's almost no suicide. Again, because they got all kind of luxury shit. They got the luxury shit inside the prison that most people don't want to give up in their outside life. So, I mean, that's probably going to help at least keep them psychologically somewhat stable. You know what I'm saying? Unlike in Europe, where conditions are better, but the real problem is suicide. Well, in Europe, a particular demographic of people has an issue with deleting themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't know if that necessarily has anything to do with the prison system. That could be something with that particular culture. You know what I'm saying? I have asked myself many times why. I think that in the end, feeling good but alone is worse. than feeling bad, but all together. Nah, man. Like I said, they got nightclubs and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? They got nightclubs, zoos, craps tables, slot machines, shit. Yeah, he's making terrible points. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said, I'm sure they'll forget to bring supplies to the prison cruise line so that it'll reach its demise eventually. Yeah, big facts. But knowing these people seem like they kind of durable, man. You know what I'm saying? That they're kind of durable. They might actually be able to make it to the shore. If they're making it through the Darien Gap, you know what I'm saying? They might not really be too worried about a ship sinking. They find their way to Texas somehow. You know what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, we've been live for 2 hours. I appreciate each and every one of you all for sticking with me for this 2 hours. If you guys have not yet, please smash the like button. If you're not subscribed to the backup channels, please take a moment, subscribe to the backup channels. If you haven't watched all the videos on the channel, please make sure that you guys do that. And I will see you all again, same time tomorrow night with some more crime. All right? Peace.